Nice to see you. This is Jens
Nice to
from
see
Service
you.
Magazine. Hi.
Ich liebe dich.
Very important sentence.
Ja,
Yeah, would love to get some insights, and I hope you want to share it with us.
yes,
Okay,
I
great.
do.
Your earlier work was deeply rooted in celebrities, fashion, and pop culture, with all its color and excesses. In Vanishing Act, the tone feels profoundly different, contemplative, spiritual, almost ecological. In a way, how did that transition happen? What is a conscious turning point?
Well, I started with images very much. It's more of a full circle um, situation where I started in the '80s with exhibition in New York, making galleries at my friend's loft downtown in '84. I had my first show there when I was 21, um, and then my second show a few months later. First show was Good News from Modern Man and Angels, Saints, and Martyrs, and that was all black and white. And then I went and started color exhibitions, Somewhere Better, and all the early work was very much angels and metaphysical questions, and that's when that was prior to working for magazines, and that got me the attention of Interview magazine, which offered me a job, and I just wanted to take pictures. So
Okay.
photographing. They were the ones that gave me my first assignment to photograph celebrities. The Beastie Boys was my first job, and then I just started shooting magazines. And then in the '90s, it really blew up. With the contracts with Vanity Fair and Details and Condé Nast, French, Italian Vogue, French Vogue,
Yeah.
working, doing a lot of celebrity, a lot of fashion. Um, but yeah, I started with very metaphysical things. I've kind of come back home to
Mhm.
those ideas. I never really left them behind in my life, but I was, definitely having different chapters in life for sure. And in
Okay.
this chapter now, I feel like an urgency to make work that is important to me, and I still do work with celebrities and those things because it brings young people to the galleries and to the exhibitions. They know and keeps the studio very vital.
Hmm.
Keeps us not just only in the art world, but keeps us in the popular world as well. So photographing young pop stars, um, and doing commissions of that sort, I still do, and I see that. You just see it very separate now. I kind of see that as a whole, you
Okay.
know, and one feeds the other, and it also enables me to do it whatever I want with the gallery work and be free. I don't have to worry about sales or anything in the
Yeah.
art world. I can just make work that I love.
So yeah, I mean, you photographed so many iconic figures, some of whom sadly are no longer with us, while others continue to surprise us in a way. Is there anyone you would love to photograph again today, or someone from your past work you feel even more relevant in the present moment, and why?
Gosh, I've photographed so many great artists, and to me, artists, great artists don't really go in and out of relevancy. I think they always their work is forever a gift to the
Mhm.
world, and you can go back and listen to Stevie Wonder's "Songs of the Key of Life," which is a masterpiece,
Yeah.
and enjoy that just as much as when it first was released in 1976. So I believe that great artists, and they'll always be there for us to have their work.
Yeah.
A lot of the pop stars I photographed, their work isn't so um, transcendental. It's of a moment, and then when the moment's over, it's more looking back on it as more of a retro experience because you enjoyed it when you were young. But there's some artists whose work just really, really goes on and on, you know, and stays important through forever because it's work for the ages, you know. And with my own work, I like to take pictures like this that, you know, I look at my older work, the deluge and things I did 20 years ago, which is about from the Old Testament, the flood of Noah, but set in modern day, or Jesus is my homeboy. Those pictures look exactly as strong and as relevant. They touch people the same way they did when I first made them. And I strive for this, you know, I strive for this sort of making work for the ages, not just for the moment.
To highlight someone that pops up in your mind, is there anyone that you say, hey, yeah, it's now that would be that, it would be him or her?
There's been many people I've worked with over the years. Elton John, I've worked with continually for the last 27 years.
Yeah.
Doing work with him. I was just with him this weekend, and you know, we've done the 3 album packages together. I did his 6-year residency in Las Vegas. I directed the show at Caesar's Palace, the biggest theater in Vegas, and it was such a challenge, but really was like his life story told through videos, and the stage really moved and did, you know, so many things. So he's someone that keeps coming back in my life, who I think is very relevant. His music never goes away. It's always there for a new generation to discover and for us to enjoy over and over again.
So I'm coming to the aesthetics of excess. No, you once celebrated visual abundance, you know, the beauty of chaos, of too muchness. Do you see excess differently now in a world of struggling with overconsumption and waste?
As for myself, I don't want to just make more, you know, like I said previously, like I don't want to make merchandise. I want to make pictures that really mean something. So I'm not going to make just pictures that are decorative or don't have any value besides looking good. The pictures I make for myself, I want to have, you know, a deeper meaning, connect with people, you know. So it touches people the way music does, you know. So I make less work now, but more time and energy and thought goes into it, because it's much more challenging today to make work that have people look at longer than it was when I first started, because we have so many images we see every day. So I need to grab people's attention, and I use beauty to do that, and have them stop and look, and so long enough to understand what I'd like to communicate with them, you know. And to me, that's really beautiful, to communicate with somebody with an image without having met them. I think that's when the work is finished. That's the beautiful things in art.
Now, in the age of digital speed and artificial intelligence, do you believe that there's still power in imperfection and manual creation?
Yeah, I think people really appreciate things that are made with hands, and you know, I still apply an analog process with my work, and keeping, even though they look fantastical, you know, I keep things in there that are imperfect, because, you know, that's what shows it was real. Because they're very theatrical. We create these sets, we build the tableaus, you know, I'm very hands-on with the art direction. I choose the color of the paint, we do the casting, we clothe the figures, we pose them. I choose the music to play to set the mood for the image I want to make. And you know, so it's very like a theatrical moment. And then the opening night is the shoot day, you know, and we work towards this tableau, and it is very much like theater. And people are standing around, and there's the players, and we do the photo, and you know, many times when the photo is done, there's applause breaks out and people cheer because they love the image on the screen, and it was like very much this type of experience, a theatrical experience. And
Yeah.
and I love this. I love this collaborative nature in photography. I always have. I also love the solitude of the darkroom, but I do love the excitement of the shoot and everybody working together and creating these things and not knowing if it's going to work or not because you're trying something completely new. We've been doing a new interesting series lately, and they're just shooting on the streets of LA and shooting in the studio, and I just never know if it's going to work until we're there, and then most times things all fall together, and it comes out better than I even imagined, but it is a collaboration, and keeping all those little bits in there that make it human. That's important because you can have artificial intelligence, but you can't have artificial creativity. And so I leave those little things, those defects that other people might erase, to give it life, to give it the humanity, So I'm always leaving little things that would be looked at as mistakes, I guess, in another studio, but here I see them as just signs of life.
What do you think it's an artist's responsibility in times of environmental and social crisis? What do you think? Can beauty still be political?
I think beauty has always been a tool for me to use to bring people to my images. There's so much horror in the news, and why there's a lot of darkness, so you see so many people watching serial killer movies and these very dark themes and murders, and there's so many murders in the films and everything that we see, and gratuitous violence. And I just see this simply as a mirror to society and our culture, like what we're interested in, and it's a very sad state. We're like in the dark ages, and so I try to bring light, I try to bring beauty to the work, and I really appreciate other artists that do the same. We try to bring light and beauty into the world, and fight against the wide path, which is strewn with a lot of darkness, a lot of confusion. And I don't want my work to be confusing. I want people to understand what it is they're seeing. I don't want there to be any doubt that I'm not making irony. There's not layers of ironies or sort of I've had to become more clear lately because people look at things with less thought now. So people all of our attention spans are shorter, so I have to grab people's attention right away, and using beauty is how I do that. And I don't want to contribute to darkness. We have a choice as artists to what we're going to create. I want to create, even if I'm not feeling, the happiest, or if I'm going through some challenges or struggles, it doesn't mean I have to put them in my work. I can also go to my work and create a better moment in my life. You know what I mean? Something beautiful, even through times where you're suffering or going through something difficult. You can still bring beautiful things into being.
So let's talk a little bit about the meaning of Vanishing Act. The title itself evokes disappearance, transformation, maybe even redemption. What exactly is vanishing here? Nature, innocence, humanity?
Well, I think if we all realize we're in a different chapter today than we were when we were younger or in our grandparents' time. This is a new chapter. We're seeing things we've never seen before. We're experiencing a world that we haven't experienced before, and so there are things that are vanishing, and I want to hang on to the good and the beauty that's still there, and I want to celebrate that celebrate the goodness and the light that's still there. And for me, a lot of that's based in spirituality and you know, and my love of that, because that's what's really gotten me through um, through this life. And we're all going to struggle, even with having a spiritual foundation in one's life. You're still going to struggle. The struggle will be easier if you have God in your life. But if you don't, I can't imagine. I don't understand how one navigates the world today without that. For me, that's the most important thing. So that's why my photographs, there's so much, especially now, are very much about metaphysical ideas and spiritual ideas, and trying to put those into images is what I'm working at and what I'm trying to express.
Talking about the place of Miami Beach, you have chosen Miami for the world premiere of Vanishing Act. How does the city, with its tension between paradise and peril, shape the message of the exhibition?
I think the whole world is between paradise and peril right now, not just Miami Beach. But that did not occur to me that I was going down there because it was, sort of a city between peril and. But I feel like the whole world is at that. We're definitely at a new chapter, and and like I said, like the work I do for pop stars and those type of things, they're much lighter, and there's not as the depth but they're really just to look a certain way, to celebrate that person, that artist, whether it be a pop artist or an actor or something. Those images have a certain depth, but they're not. They're mostly just a celebration of that person and the culture at this moment. This person's notable. They make up the world today, and I've always photographed people that are making up the world of popular culture. But the work I make for myself is totally different. But yet they work together, and one feeds the other and brings attention to the other. And the people now, their attention is caught by celebrities. So, when you have that, you have a lot of young people coming to the gallery, and then they're surprised when they see the new work and the work that's not on your Instagram, and they're surprised to see all these images of Jesus Christ and God and the Holy Family. This is something new that they haven't seen, and seeing it on a large scale, and seeing the work and the time that goes into these images. So it's I use that. I use that the chance of photographing these famous people to kind of bring attention to the other work. And my friends always ask me, how do you get so many young people into the museum? I'm like, because they're here to see Dua Lipa and Lady Gaga and Travis Scott, and they come in and they see these other pictures of Jesus, the greatest star of them all, Jesus Christ superstar. So that's I see them now. I see it how it works together. When I used to see it very separate.
Let's talk about places, and also because you were retreating to Maui for several years. How did that distance influence your vision of art, fame, and what truly matters?
I've always wanted to be near the woods, and when my parents passed away, they lived up in the woods, and I would go there and spend time just in deep in the forest, swimming in the mountain lakes that nobody was at. There's no houses, no people, no paths even to get there. And then in Maui, I have this retreat that I can go to, which I'm going to go to very soon, where I can just be in nature and solitude. And I think that's really important. I think solitude is very important to look at one's life. There was a time when I was working so much, I didn't have time to look and have retrospection and think about the things I was doing. I was just kind of making and working, and wasn't thinking so much about the choices I'm making, and so I was excelling very much as an artist, but then there was other parts of my life that were kind of being neglected, like relationships and things like that. I was so busy and traveling so much that those there's always a price to pay, and so now I'm having this time in the jungle and the nature and solitude to have that retrospection and have that balance, and that balance is really important. That's what brought me in this new chapter. It's been 20 years now that I've been able to go to Maui and stay on this farm, and all the trees we planted 20 years ago are now fully mature in the orchards, and it's another form of creation, and it's a big blessing, and I feel very, 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 very blessed to have it. It was a prayer I used to have when I was a kid, that I would have one day a cabin in the woods, because that's where I feel close to God, is in nature.
Okay.
And be able to afford vegetarian food and to be able to make a living supporting myself as a photographer. That's what I wanted. That was my prayer, and it was answered with, and then some. And I always feel like God has heard my prayers, and so prayer, contemplation, nature, being away from everything, being cut off. We live off the grid. I live in the rainforest side of Maui. Very isolated. I can go for days without seeing anyone.
Okay.
And just the water and the trees, and it reminds me that there's still heaven on earth.
If you speak about this connection to nature, and which is for you also a force to get back to yourself, in a way I understood, at least. Speaking about a little bit about technology and the future of images, with AI and digital saturation transforming visual culture. What future do you imagine for photography as a medium of truth or emotion in the future?
I'm just focused on sort of my next photos. I don't know what the future is going to bring in terms of with AI or anything. I know that like I said, you can have artificial intelligence, but I don't think you can have artificial creativity. So I think people will have more value placed on things that are made with your hands, and like my photos are made with a team of people, very talented people, painters and seamstresses and makeup artists, and so there's this handmade quality. There's the fingerprint of the human being involved in that process. It's not sanitized. And I think there'll always be value in that. I think maybe more value in things that are made with the human hand. Now that things become more automated, and nature becomes scarcer, when human beings always value what's scarce.
Yeah.
So in Vanishing Act, the vanishing forest is a blessing. It's something so valuable. It's priceless. Having that experience to be in the nature. And when I bring people there, they're like, "Oh, you say the same thing. Why do you ever leave?" And I leave because I want to come back and work. And I love working. I love making pictures. But again, I have to have the reason for this. I don't want to just make things, more stuff. I want to make merchandise. I want to make pictures that touch people. My goal is always to make pictures that like music, that touch people the way music does. Music goes right to your heart, So I strive for that. And every once in a while you hit it. Every once in a while you make a picture and people go, oh, that moment where they're like, their breath is taken away. That for me is like so exciting. That's such an exciting moment.
Yeah. Maybe you have a message for them through your work for the next generation of image makers. What would it be?
I would say, don't worry too much about what's to come. Just focus on what it is you want to say in your heart, and don't follow the wide path. Follow that which is yours. Stay true to what you love, and others you'll find will love it as well. I've always lived by that. I think I've had longevity in my careers because I've always stayed true to what I was interested in at that moment. What I was interested in has changed over the years, but then there's always been the thread of God and spirituality that I've always come back to, especially in the last 20 years. Really come
Yeah.
back full on to that. As I think that's the answer is not with the politicians or the TV reporters and the journalists. It's really with a connection with God. I think that's like our hope.
Thanks so much.
Danke.